video game show. It's a video game show. It's not a game show about videos. It's a video game show.
Alright kids, it's that time again. Welcome to another episode of the Video Game Show. Episode number 11 for Friday, November 10th, 2006. With me today, Keith.
Hello, I can't believe we're already on episode 11.
Chad.
Hello.
And live from the BRD, Phil.
Hey, I'm about to tag Marshall Windsor here and complete a quest.
Phil, what are you wearing right now? Tell us your outfit. What's your gear?
Let's see. Hang on.
Phil's a
I'm a level 60
little night elf.
Nice.
Large breast.
Female hunter.
Hot.
Yeah, I'm in my +1 to crit gear, so it's nothing spectacular, but
Who are you questing with?
Sunfire 66 and a
that's
bunch
cool.
of her buddies. So yeah, we're having a good time. We're doing the jailbreak now.
Time for GamerCast Network community news. We have a new phone number. So apparently everyone who tried to call us over the last 2 weeks wasn't getting through because the old system sucks.
That's one way to put it, yes.
So now we have a brand new system where we bought a Skype-in account. So if you already are on Skype and want to leave us a voicemail, just Skype Video Game Show. That's our name. Or if you want to call us over a normal telephone line, our new phone number, 320-300-GAME. That's 320-300-GAME. So I think that's a pretty cool number. I mean, that's, it's easy to remember.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. As long as we keep the game part. I mean, if our listeners are anything like us, they're simple and, can't change it too much on them.
Oh, we're extending the World of Warcraft contest because we had problems with the voicemail. So go ahead, call us at 320-300-GAME and leave your funny voicemail to win the Horde t-shirt and poster. Is that what we have, Chad?
A World of Warcraft poster. Cinematics poster.
Yeah, World of Warcraft poster and Horde t-shirt. Kids, if you guys haven't been hanging out on the forums, now's the time to join because if you guys notice all of the new people that are suddenly posting on the forums.
Yeah. I'm just getting back on the forums because I've been in Pittsburgh for...
They've been pretty active. I mean, a lot of conversations. There's no dead threads. They're all
started by Rothbart.
Yeah, all started by Rothbart.
Check out Gamertag Radio Episode 78, where Godfrey brings you coverage from the Microsoft and Capcom Lost Planet community event. He also interviews the developers of the Xbox Live Arcade game, Small Arms. Watch out for cameos by Chris Palladino and our own Chris Ivan. Be sure to subscribe to Gamertag Radio and check out their new website at gamertagradio.com. Finally, for any of our listeners attending Sony PlayStation 3 and Nintendo Wii launches this week, share with us your experiences. Send your stories and pictures to the mailbag at vgs@gamercastnetwork.com. And any audio sent to us may find its way into the next episode of the Video Game Show.
Next topic.
Apparently, corporate America just absolutely loves Second Life. So now, I think it was Sun Microsystems that had a stockholder meeting over there, but now IBM is going to have an employee meeting. So all 7,000 of their Chinese employees are going to jump on Second Life, and they're going to have some kind of employee meeting with upper management.
That many Asian gamers in one spot playing a game like that? That's just cult suicide.
No, one of us has to get on this thing and spend some quality time with it because there's so many stories are coming out of Second Life now.
But it doesn't look fun at all.
I know, that's the thing. It doesn't look fun.
Go outside. I mean,
we have news people like Reuters and whatnot actually setting up press bureaus to tell Second Life people what's going on in the real world, and to tell the real world what's going on in Second Life, like anyone actually cares.
Like a foreign news bureau set up in Second Life, like the London office, but instead you have the Second Life office?
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't know why you would play a game that's just living your life.
Maybe because your life is boring, or...
Apparently, Second Life has an aspect to it like... what's the game Bob likes? What's the game that we like now?
Neverwinter Nights.
Apparently, apparently has an aspect to it like Neverwinter Nights where users create the world. So you make your own house, and inside your house you can put a bar or a club, and people can come over and dance to your music. But I guess it has a scripting engine where you can make games. So there's all these public parks that have games that people created. Or in-game, you can go to an arcade, walk up to an arcade machine, and then start playing the game. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of it is user-created content.
What happens when someone makes the gun stuff and you can actually go around and shooting people? Are you going to actually get thrown in jail and taken to court and No,
it's complete anarchy. It's like Escape from New York. What was that? What was the actor from Escape from New York?
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell. That's right.
With one eye.
Yep. That was an awesome movie. I never did see Escape from L.A. because it looked kind of like a cheap
You know what?
ripoff.
No, it just the
Yeah.
original. Stick with the original.
No, but I was saying, would they have the whole aspect of prison life? You know, like
I know. Can you drop the virtual soap?
dropping the soap in the showers, those kind of things.
Drop the virtual soap.
I know. Can you make your saving throw over sodomy?
The problem is just a lack of time. But yeah, we got to have someone hop on that thing to see what the hell it's all about.
Oh, you know what? We should ask somebody from the community. We should go on the forums, ask somebody to play Second Life, and then record a report, like what they did. You know, yeah, write a little journal, and then come on the show and like just give us a little report. So there you go, kids. Someone email us and volunteer to spend some time on Second Life, and then come on the show and give a little report on what you found.
Next topic.
We have a special guest with us this week. If you guys hang out in the forums, you know him as our moderator and our #1 poster, Rothbart, who we suspect is a Sony employee, but we won't mention that on the show.
Hello. There's no proof of that. You can't find that out for sure.
No, we can't. We just think it is.
My bank account can prove otherwise.
All right, so what do you got for us today, Rothbart?
Well, I went through and I made a list of stuff, and when people hear that I'm going to be on here, I'm sure they're going to be thinking it's all pro Sony. And basically, I just wanted to talk about some general stuff, and most of it's pretty, fairly either way. It's not pro or against. But
wait, before we start, should we consider you a Sony fanboy or no?
I would not say that I am.
Okay.
But I think people would strongly argue the other way. But
Well, Rothbart, people on the forums want to know. Well, what do you own right now?
a PS2 and 3 Xboxes.
Whoa, why 3 Xboxes, may I ask?
Xbox Media Center.
You just lost all your Sony cred with the boys in the street, actually, now.
I have a PSP and a DS as well. The biggest thing that I really wanted to talk about was the separation of Sony and the PlayStation 3 and why people get so worked up over it. I don't get the waste of energy.
My view here is we're all fans of the console. It's just the execs are just saying really, really stupid things.
Well, I would agree with that, but I mean, every day I eat at restaurants where the chef could be an idiot or whatever, and I just can't see wasting my time doing that. And especially on the forums, it seems like if you say anything remotely positive about the PS3, it's taken as Sony praise, and Sony's hosed themselves royally as far as public opinion, and there's nothing I could say or do about that. It is what it is.
How much do you think is genuine, and how much do you think is guys like me who are out there just having fun with all of Sony's troubles, like purposefully kind of trolling, stoking the fires?
Well, there's definitely a couple of those on the forums.
I think that there's more of that than you'd realize, because when Sony does come out, and Sony's proven in the past that they could put out good stuff, and to think that the PS3 is not going to be good is kind of silly. It's just their execs are morons. So, I mean...
I think they haven't had a leash, a single leader, and they all kind of ramble around and say their own thing, and they haven't grasped that if you say something in the internet age, it's everywhere.
Do you think they still have that... Because you got to admit, they did have a certain arrogance after the PS2 going in. Do you still think that they hold that arrogance, or do you think that's...
Well, I think in their
been knocked
mind,
a few pegs down?
If you look at the numbers in their mind, I would say probably not. I'd say they're probably sitting on top of their #1 selling console looking down. But in my opinion, I don't care. I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I don't have Sony over for dinner, so it's... I mean, at the end of the day, I just want a cool console to do with what I want. And
So, okay, there's Sony Computer and Entertainment Division, then there's the rest of Sony. And by and large, 2006 has been a down year for most of their groups. After launch, this will go away. After it's already out and we see how good
Once people
titles
can
are.
afford the console to go play.
Yeah, that's true.
The today was the actually coming up pretty soon here is the Japanese launch, and at first there weren't many campers, but apparently towards go time now there's lots of people waiting.
I saw a video today of 1,000 people waiting in line, and I can't imagine any single site getting 1,000 units.
It was pretty amazing for an area which for a long time didn't seem all PS3 rah-rah.
Well, right before we came on here, I noticed that the Best Buy and wherever that was, somewhere in Southern California, they kicked them all out. They're not allowed to camp now. So
Because that's not waiting for a pre-order, that's loitering. What the cops should have done is just been real pricks and sent them away the day before, like when people would start waiting.
You want to talk a little bit about that Wii PS3 pre-order you did 2 weeks ago?
It was the 29th, I guess. Yeah, it was pretty interesting. We showed up by 6 a.m. the day before, and we were a little freaked out because we'd driven by 11 o'clock the night before. Nobody was there. When we showed up at 6 a.m., there were like 8 cars in the parking lot. So we drove in, sat down our lawn chairs, and sat there, and then realized those were employees at Toys R Us at 6 a.m. They didn't open until 10. We couldn't figure it out. But the very first thing they did, it was, I expected them to come out and say, "What are you doing? Get out of here." But the first thing they did was they plopped down a sign and, made us official. We thought, wow, this is pretty cool. We're first. I wonder how long we're going to find out that we wasted by coming this early. It turned out they only had 4 PS3s. So by 10:30 the day before, they were all accounted for. And I'd say by 6, all of the Wiis were accounted for.
According to GameStop, I don't think you were guaranteed a console when you put the money down. Are you a guaranteed a console one with Toys R Us?
They had every confidence that they would get at least as many as they pre-sold. So the general consensus, if you look on eBay, everybody that's got a Toys R Us is saying, "I am guaranteed." But the people that are at EB Games and GameStop won't say that. We were kind of feeling people out. Are you keeping it? Are you selling it? Are you keeping it? Are you selling it?
Yeah, how many wanted to make a quick buck here on eBay?
Well, definitely at least half of the PS3s are going on eBay. And to be honest, I'm camping launch, and my Toys R Us PS3 is going on eBay too. There were a couple, I wouldn't say loud or obnoxious people, but there was one guy that made it his duty when somebody came up, "Yeah, they're all taken," and just try and send people away. And I don't know what his deal was, but people just didn't listen to him. They waited in line, and it really turned out to where they sent like 60 or 70 people away when they opened the stores. They came out with the vouchers, handed them out. Yeah, well, people were just sour, and this guy comes up to me in the head of the line. He says, "What'd you get here?" And I said, 6:30 a.m. yesterday. He goes, "You were here yesterday?" I said, "Yeah. I've been trying to get an Elmo for a month and a half for my grandson, and I can't get one." And all I could think was, I was here and you weren't.
But buddy, the Elmo line is over there. This is the PlayStation 3 line.
Oh, oddly enough, it was all the same line. So the
Elmo people and the PlayStation 3 people. Wow, what an eclectic crowd.
Wow,
and the Wii people. It was Wii, PS3, and Tickle Me Extreme Elmo.
Oh, any fistfights over Wii PS3?
No.
No fanboy pronouncements or anything like that. Any taunting?
There was one guy that it was pretty vocal. He had already pre-ordered his PS3 somewhere else, and I just had a hard time just biting my lip because I didn't really want to talk to him, but he was just saying all kinds of stuff that wasn't true that would normally bait me into saying, that's actually not right. But I just left him alone.
But if he was on the forums, you'd have a whole page response.
It'd be multi-page.
Nice.
But it was fun. I mean, we had like a dozen people with DSs playing Mario Kart 64, and I took my PSP, and the only person that had a PSP there besides me was the guy I didn't really want to talk to. So.
Yeah, what does that tell you there, Rothbart?
It's gathering dust. You guys told me so.
But again, the PlayStation Portable, when it first came out, I thought was going to be the dog's bollocks. And then they tried to do it as a media device as opposed to a gaming device.
Well, I was just going to say, I think they need to drop at least $50 off the price, and they need to just shove a whole bunch of games out there. And, if they can revive the multimedia aspect by combining it with the PS3, all the power to them. But I think it's an uphill battle.
Yeah, because I hope it takes off with, they're going to be emulating PlayStation games on the PSP.
Oddly, as much as I complain about the retro stuff, I'm actually excited about that.
There are some nicer older PlayStation games that you can, if you go on eBay and try and get them, it's ridiculous, like Final Fantasy VII and those kind of games. Whereas if they put them on the online service, I wouldn't mind downloading and buying a couple of those.
I agree.
World of Warcraft update.
So, Phil, what are you doing right this moment?
I'm killing a big level 55 elite ogre called Ogre BC in the Blackrock Depths.
Wow.
I wanted to ask you guys, if you could pick one thing, if you could just rub a genie's lamp and change one thing about the PS3 machine or launch or how they've handled it, what would the one single factor that you would change be?
Make it match the 360 price.
I agree. If that were to happen, a lot of the stuff that people are saying would just disappear.
You know what? If they did that, I honestly would not bash them anywhere near as much, because they can be idiots all they want. That's fine. As long as they're putting out a product that's good, I don't care. But for the 360, regardless of what anyone says, is going to be at least comparable to the PlayStation. I'm not going to redo my whole DVD collection, which I've got a bunch of them, to get Blu-ray. So just make it more affordable, and that's my one thing that I would like to see them do.
So, Keith, my next question actually...
Can I answer the question?
Go ahead.
What I hear about the multiplayer scares me. One of the things that I like about the 360 is that live is easy. An hour before the show, I was just playing around with all the arcade games and having a nice unified back end, or at least providing a nice service to all of your third-party developers. And when I hear that Sony's not going to offer that to their third parties, it makes me think of the PC and what I have to do to get on multiplayer games for each PC game. Each PC game has its own server browser. Each PC game has its own authentication. I know Sony's going to offer unified authentication. And another thing is, it makes me think that it's not going to be free. Someone like Square Enix or something is going to have some kind of multiplayer game, and if you want to play it on their servers, now you're going to have to pay some monthly fee to them. So this whole multiplayer thing scares me. I'd change it. I'd ask them to take a play out of Microsoft's playbook here and just go ahead and offer the complete back end. And knocking $200 off the price.
Anybody else?
The only thing I really can think of right now is just some of these horror stories. Well, not horror stories, but some of the down things I'm hearing from some devs about not seeing the transfer speeds they want to off of the Blu-ray and all that kind of stuff. From my point of view, it almost makes me seem like they've rushed the whole PlayStation 3 thing. Like, they're rushing in all the online stuff. What's happening here, I think if they had spent an extra 3 or 4 months polishing everything up, it'd be a nicer platform.
So Chad is asking for another delay.
Yeah, I want another delay.
You know what? I'd rather them have the delay and do it right than rush it and have it be crap.
Well, I think, in my day job, I work at a software company.
Called Sony?
This is just a guess of mine. Instead of rushing things, I think what might have happened is they didn't just pick a day and say, okay, today we're going to stop adding features. I think they kept trying to one-up it. Well, you know what? We're launching next week, and all this, we've got 100 great 75% done features. They've got all these ideas, and a lot of them sound good, but we're hearing now that it's going to launch, and you're not going to be able to connect your PSP to it until later in November because it's not quite ready, and the PS3 is shipping, and it's going to immediately have a firmware update to 1.10.
So that in itself doesn't bother me that much if they're patching things. Yes, the whole point in my eyes of the console was that you didn't have to do that. The games are starting to get, and I shouldn't even say starting, they're comparable now with computer games. The processing power, everything going on with it is comparable to a computer. So why would we expect them not to have patches?
Well, while we're still talking on upgrades, the firmware upgrades, I've been actually impressed with what Sony's done with the PSP since it launched. Because the day it launched, at least in the US, there were some significant features that it didn't have that they were able to actually add later. And they have value to me, so I'm glad that they can do that and that they do that. It's kind of proof that they're not done when they're rolling off the assembly line, and by the time they get to the store, they've already got an update. But I guess that's also proof that they're actively working on it, and it's important. So,
well, also, their whole update scheme is also trying to combat the homebrew guys who are doing their own thing with the PSP.
This is true. So, hopefully, with Linux being possible on the PS3, they'll be able to separate piracy and homebrew. So hopefully that'll work out.
That's a whole topic in of itself, Linux on the PS3.
It is. I've got an email dated July 16, 2006 to Chris. He never answered it.
What did you ask him?
Well, it was a long one, and it was before we knew the details about Linux, and it was proposing how Linux could be implemented to where you could run a full-blown, actual, real, not Sony-specific Linux implementation without any possibility or any fear of game piracy. And all it basically comes down to implement a virtual machine that the Linux sees. They don't see the actual hardware. And that layer really, has proven very secure so far in the PC world.
Well, even if they provide some kind of virtual machine that Linux runs on top of, the Linux hackers are still going to install it natively on Cell.
Well, that'll be their goal, but I think when you make this route super painless and easy, and that route is, obviously not, the average Joe's not going to go through the trouble to do that.
Right, yeah.
How many Linux people are the average Joes?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you there.
Well, Keith here's the average Joe.
I know Linux has a penguin as a mascot. That's about what I know of Linux.
So, Keith, if you could click on Other System with the X button, or you could hack your machine to install something in a way it's not supposed to, which way would you do it?
Other System, of course. That's why I'm having these guys build me a computer. I don't even know what the hell the parts mean anymore.
Here's the thing, though, with Linux on the PS3, the only thing it could really bring to you is having a desktop environment on your TV.
Are they going to release applications that are targeted to, like productivity applications, branded for the PlayStation 3 platform? No. So now, okay, so we're not going to see like the PlayStation 3 Office computer?
No.
Okay.
That's a prediction.
Beyond being just a toy for the hobbyists, why have the Linux on the PS3?
My answer is, you ask people who've tried Linux what they thought, and they'll say, I had driver issues. It sucked. I tried this. I tried that. Everything ran. Suddenly, 2 weeks into November, we've got 400,000 like hardware platforms that will be able to run Linux. And when you've got a target that's just going to keep growing like that, all with the same hardware, these Linux tinkerers that you guys have mentioned are going to come up with some killer applications that we may not be able to think of now that will go through this one-click install, and suddenly, you know, I'll be laughing at Xbox Media Center because it's so puny and featureless compared to something else.
But quickly, what is Yellow Dog Linux going to offer? Or at least, what is PlayStation 3 as a platform for Linux going to offer that my PC doesn't?
You've got an ultra-quiet machine that can sit in your living room that costs $600, can play console games, now can become unencumbered DRM-less media machine. And if you have an HD TV, you can read text. So I mean, you don't have to use the Sony browser. You can browse with Firefox or whatever.
But still, you're kind of describing like Web TV 2.0. I mean, this was the initiative Microsoft
it'd be more
tried.
like Web TV 10.0.
Well,
yeah. But okay, here, Keith, are you still around? Or are you on to porn?
I've been looking at porn, but I'm paying attention. I mean,
would you want to look at porn on your TV?
I could look at porn from my couch instead of my computer chair. But beyond that, I really don't see the point.
The first time I ever thought, gee, okay, this can make sense to me. If I have my PlayStation 3 already hooked up to the television, I have Myth TV installed on it. Now, okay, I'm kind of sold on that idea. If I could just use it as a TiVo.
It would have to be the hobbyist delivering that, because Sony has had a bad relationship with trying to deliver a console with a media center kind of thing on it. It was the PSX was there. One they tried a few years ago for like $800, some obscene amount of money for this thing which no one bought.
My speculation is the only way this can happen is if Sony can wash their hands of it.
I know the one thing I like, again, from a non-tech savvy person about Xbox and Microsoft is the fact that everything's unified. Everything is done through them. It flows smoothly through them, etc. If all this stuff is letting this person do it, and Sony's wiping their hands clean, and that guy's doing this, and this guy's doing that, I don't see that being very smooth, and the only people I see that benefiting are the guys like you who know what the hell's going on.
I agree. I think, when this thing comes out, I would be amazed if anybody did anything impressive with it for the first 6 months at least. And I don't expect it to be mainstream maybe for 2 years. But when it gets to the point to where you can have, Timmy come over and say, hey, look at this, do that. And then boom, suddenly your game console's got a full-blown, computer sitting there.
That's the point. As soon as you can put it on it, burn this image onto a disk, drop it in, go, and it turns it all on as a media thing. That would be fine. That'd be great. That's perfect.
World of Warcraft update.
What are you doing right now?
We just completed the jailbreak. We're going to meet Windsor at some other place. So,
are you mounted or unmounted?
We are still inside Blackrock Depths, so we cannot mount until we get outside.
Wow.
Okay, so Blu-ray video versus Blu-ray storage. The distinction needs to be made. People keep saying Blu-ray costs the $200, blah, 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 blah. I could care less about Blu-ray video at the minute, but I am excited about Blu-ray storage, and I think that people are so quick to just yell out, Oblivion was 16 square miles and it fit on a DVD, or stuff like that. It's not an unheard of thing to say we need a larger capacity storage medium, and if you're Sony and you're developing Blu-ray and you've already got the resources of your sister arm of the company or whatever working on it, why wouldn't you put that in there? It makes no sense to me not to.
It does make sense not to, and I'll tell you why. Because I'm not knowing all the technical stuff, the last how many formats and ventures of Sony with their UMD and the little, before that they had the mini disc, all these things that they're trying to say are so good, and they're the new wave of the future, every single one of them have failed. So why should I put my trust in Blu-ray when I already know that DVD is... I said Blu-ray.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, you very much so said it.
When you already know that DVD is good
Well, you're tying it in with video, though. I mean, do we really care what format?
Yes, we do. That was part of the reason why I bought the PlayStation 2 in the first place, is because it came with a DVD player. If I'm going to be spending that much money, I want it to be able to do... I don't want to have to go buy an extra video player if my console can do all that.
Okay, well, the PS3 can play DVDs, but disregard Blu-ray video. You know, in 4 years or whatever, towards the maturity of this console lifetime, or, 10 years, whatever Sony says, it may be valuable to be able to put 50 gigabytes on one dual-layer disc. And
how big of a difference, then, is it between HD DVD and Blu-ray?
It is significant. And, that brings me to another argument with the whole Blu-ray video versus HDVD. Guys need to forget it. The quality of the audio, the quality of the video, the codecs used, they're identical.
The thing, though, is, with me at least, looking at it purely from a non-video point, a storage point, is that that's a lot of content to fill up for a game.
It is.
I know people are saying they're already approaching the capacity of the initial Blu-ray discs. Like, what was that, Resistance Fall of Man?
It came out, final was 16 gigs. It's not
how much
tremendous.
of that is actual stuff to play versus movies, cutscenes?
Well, I think the bulk of it ended up being audio, actually.
Or audio. I mean, as nice as audio is...
Well, I haven't heard it, but, I did read that once you hear uncompressed surround sound, you can tell the difference. I can't claim that's true or not. I've not heard it myself, but...
But again, we're talking about stuff that most people are... We all have good jobs, and none of us can afford this crap.
Well, Sony's looking 10 years out with this.
I'm not looking 10. I'm looking.
One of the problems is, see, that's the problem. One, they're asking us to take on a cost for something that will be useful to us in 10 years when we are all receiving high-definition television signals.
So why not get it in 10 years then?
I think that's the problem, yeah, because you're asking me to carry this cost now. I don't want to carry this cost now because I don't have a high-definition television.
I do think that as people buy TVs, unless they really, really just don't care, they are going to pony up for at least something that does at least 720.
Yeah, but if you're ponying up for a TV, then you got to pony up for a console. Then you got to pony up for a new kind of device. Then you got to pony up for this, pony up for that. How much are they expecting us to pony up for?
Well, the point is, if you buy it now, you don't have to when you get the new TV. It will be there when your display is ready, I guess.
You've already paid for it.
Is that like pre-buying your funeral lot?
Yeah.
So you're set, you're good when you go?
I already have my grave all set aside,
Yeah, so do I.
Dug in the
backyard.
Yeah, I have my whole 6 feet down. I'm all set for it.
See, that's what I don't think Sony honestly understands. Because I agree with you, Rothbart, that the fact that Sony is saying, yes, down the road this will be good, but I don't think they realize that people aren't looking down the road. 67 or 77% of at least America lives check to check.
It's $600 at once, and that's what I think a lot of people have a hard time swallowing. But yeah, I mean, I can't argue it. Yeah, the day that you pay for it, it's going to hurt more. But at the end of the console lifespan, I just don't see it as an issue that
But do you also think that you're going to look back and say, yeah, this is a lot better than what was there?
I'm not sure at this point I have any proof. I'm not convinced that the machine is going to be better. I'm convinced that it's going to be comparable. And to me, that's not a bad thing. I mean,
but if it's going to be comparable, why would you spend the extra? We'll just say base $200.
The ultimate plan is to not pay for it. I should say that up front. I'm going to have
that's what I did with my PlayStation 2. I was unemployed at the time, so I actually borrowed $300 from my dad. Went up, bought a PlayStation 2, sold it on eBay for $900, gave my dad back his $300, then went and bought one, and still had $300 in my pocket at the end of the day.
That's
your game plan right now for the PS3.
It's my plan for the whole holiday gaming season. I mean,
this is not what's paying for Christmas. I'm buying a PlayStation
3. Have you looked on eBay? You can look any given hour just about and find one that tops $2,000 for a $600 machine. And honestly, the 20 gig ones, they're going for about the same price. I really can't understand that, but. Even if you only double your money,
even if you only double your money,
it's an excellent investment. So, and Wii's are going for over $700, which I just can't figure out because I honestly think you may not be able to walk in off the street every time and find one, but you're going to be able to find one.
Yeah, I don't think that the Wii is going to be insane to get a hold of.
I don't either.
I mean, you just go down to your local dwarf tossing facility and grab yourself one, and you're good to go.
Just toss them away. Yeah.
Exactly. And he goes.
There's been recently a bunch of launch day games that are either slipped to 2007 or canceled.
Right? Yeah.
And I just wanted to quickly touch on those. If anybody saw NBA Live 07, it needed canceled. It was horrible. Well, Sonic and Fear both got bumped to 2007,
right.
and you know,
Oblivion.
They had to bump Sonic. What the hell? I mean, it's Sonic.
Know. Who's buying a PS3 to play Sonic? That's what I want to know.
I like Sonic.
Would you buy a PS3 at launch to play Sonic?
Well, I like the first Sonic. I didn't say kind of the sequels.
And then I was just curious your guys' take on, is it really important that some of the impressive launch titles for the PS3 aren't exclusive? You know, obviously
I think that PlayStation needs some exclusive titles to help differentiate it against.
But, you know, they don't have any real big exclusives
that
really interest me. I mean, Ridge Racer 7's an exclusive, but Ridge Racer's Ridge Racer.
It's a driving game. Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, it's Ridge Racer 7.
Yeah.
That in itself should tell you, you know, a little bit what you're getting. So
exactly. So I'm more excited about the non-sequel exclusives like MotorStorm and Lair. I mean, they're not.
I'm with you on that one, Rothbart.
I got to say, I'm predicting right now the most fun I will have bringing my PS3 home is playing the MotorStorm demo.
Now, the most fun you will have will be when someone buys your PS3 off of eBay for $2,500. That'll be the most fun.
That'll be before launch day. That'll be this weekend. Alrighty. Well,
okay,
I think cool. I'm going to go.
I'm really appreciative. I'm really glad you came on. And will you come on after launch, and we'll talk about Sony again?
Oh, sure. Anytime.
Next topic.
Gears of War, Keith. What do you think about it?
Gears of War is, in my humble opinion, the first must-have game for the 360. The graphics and gameplay, like how smooth it is phenomenal. It's just once you get the controls down, which it isn't very hard to do, but I mean, anytime you pick up a new game, you know, you got to pretty much get the controls. It's just very fun. You walk in, you're looking around like, okay, where can I dive to? Where can I run to? And you're trying to like move up while jumping over everything, and you just mow everybody down. It's insanely fun. It's very, very graphic and gory. I personally love like diving around a thing and just chopping someone in half with the chainsaw.
How is the multiplayer co-op aspect of the whole thing?
I haven't done the non-co-op version yet, but the co-op version is sweet. You have to cover each other's backs.
Normally when you play single player, you have 2 or 3 other squad mates. So I assume when you have co-op, one of the squad mates is your co-op partner.
Yes, and the only time that you're really not... Because normally you have the computer watching your back. Now you have to have the other guy watching your back. The life in this is like Call of Duty.
Yeah, that's one of the aspects, too, I noticed, is that you don't actually have a health. You just... If you keep getting shot over and over and over again, you're eventually going to die. But if you can get some cover and back away, you will heal in a few moments.
Yes. Ammo is pretty plentiful, except in co-op you can run out. Because it's not like if you're playing co-op, they add more ammo.
What's the maximum number of players in a co-op game?
It's 2 players for a co-op game. And it's 2 players. You can play 2 players split screen. I believe it's 8 for the... Versus, I want to say it's 8. I haven't done that yet, but I will do that before next show to give a better update on the multiplayer. But if you own a 360, go rent this game.
Now, have you completed the whole single-player game yet, or are you...
No, and that was the one thing I do have. That's my only issue with the game so far. I was a little over halfway, and then Brian wanted to play. But he had no idea what was going on, so we started a game. As soon as we hit the first checkpoint, it overwrote my checkpoint.
Oh.
You only have 1 save game.
That sucks.
That really sucks.
That sucked bad. That is my only complaint with the game. If you own a 360, go rent it. Now, granted, it's not very kid-safe. They have swearing and
It's
bloody.
definitely M-rated, right?
Yeah, it's M.
It's M-rated. I mean, they actually ID'd me when I bought it.
Get out.
No.
I you not. I asked for my ID when I bought the game.
Did you just stare at them blankly for a while? Blink, maybe?
I like looked at her. I'm like, you're kidding. And she goes, no. And I'm like, okay. I said, I haven't been ID'd to buy beer in like 6 or 7 years, but I'm getting ID'd to buy a video game. Which I can't bitch at them because that's what they're supposed to do. That's their job.
I picked it up 2 days ago, and it is a very good game. The only complaint I have is that I'm really tired of these post-apocalyptic worlds. I just, I've played them so many times.
I was just going to ask Keith if he thought that it had the Warhammer 40,000 look and feel to it, as far as like the Space Marine.
Similar. It's very similar, except it's more like I haven't played a lot of the post-apocalyptic war game. Like I haven't really played Halo. I haven't really played Half-Life. I haven't played a lot of the very popular post-apocalyptic war games. Wow, I can't believe I just said that without f***ing that up. So to me, that's not a big factor.
The thing is, I've been playing like Fear, Half-Life 2, all those, and it's just
Doom,
wearing on me a little. It's the whole grunt.
It's either World War II or post-apocalyptic war. Those are your two options if it's a shooter. So take your pick.
But yeah, overall, it's a great game. The gameplay is fantastic. They basically. There really isn't anything innovative in the gameplay itself, but they've taken like the best things from all the games.
A bunch of different games and meshed them together.
You guys want to give it a score?
Like a 9.5. This is the best game for the 360, and it's the best game I've played in a while.
Yeah, of all the 360 games out there right now, I'd have to agree. This is probably one of the best ones out there right now.
I mean, this is the first game that I actually will say I think couldn't be considered next gen. Because this is just something beyond graphics that they couldn't have done on a PlayStation 2 or Xbox.
It's time to give out ham sandwiches. I do want to give out ham sandwiches to our 1,000 Post Club over on the forums, because these are the guys that really keep the forums hopping. If you haven't visited, if you've been listening to this show, there is really active conversation going on. And we got 4,000 Post members, so I want to give ham sandwiches to Rothbart, Duff, Sander Scamper, and Satan Banana. And also, about to break that 1,000 post barrier is Cobalt is Dead. He's in the 900, so he's almost there. So ham sandwiches, guys.
Jeez, I thought I was making progress by hitting like 70.
Yeah, I think Rothbart has more posts than all of the GCN crew combined.
Well, so does Duff.
And so
does Sander Scamper.
Here's my question: has Bob even posted?
I think he has 2.
He's 9 or 10.
Yeah.
9 or 10.
Here, that's more than I would have thought he had.
Wait, I can say it right now, real quick. Here's the GCN crew. Chad's leading the way with. No. I'm leading the way. No, Ivan's leading the way.
Oh Jesus!
Ivan's got 484. I have 428. Chad has 374.
Chris has got to be up there next.
C Palladino has 216. Phil has 68. Bob has 9.
You didn't say me.
Oot has 73. H Palladino. Heather has. Well, Heather puts us all to shame.
She's not working.
Okay. She has 545.
Any more outro stuff you want to do here, Tom?
Remember that our World of Warcraft contest has been extended for a whole nother week because our voicemail was actually down. So the new phone number again is 320-300-GAME. It's so easy that I actually remembered it already.
I didn't.
It's a standard long-distance phone number, so all standard fees apply.
Unless you have Skype, then you can just Skype us at Video Game Show, and it'll go right to our voicemail.
Uncle Gamer Podcast and Vicious696. We are definitely want to give them a ham sandwich, and definitely going to do some stuff with them, hopefully in the near future. I'm sorry, guys. I'll send you an email as soon as possible.
I do like that podcast.
Would you mind either you, me, or Tom going on their show?
I'll take that.
Okay, I'll send an email to him and
he's like our foreign ambassador. He goes to the other shows and represents us.
Yeah, that's fine.
You're our Condi Rice.
Oh no!
If it were,
I want to be the Bolton, our UN ambassador, because that dude's got a sweet mustache.
He does. That is a pretty sweet mustache. And what would be the anti-ham sandwich? I want to give an anti-ham sandwich to Liverwurst. I want to give that one of those to everyone who plays Texas Hold'em on Live Arcade and goes all in before the flop on every single hand.
Anytime you're not playing with real... Well, hell, I shouldn't even say that because there really are people that do that even when you are playing with real money. But anytime you're playing with fake money, yeah, unless you're in a tournament, people don't care. Exactly.
All in every
time. They just
don't
care.
Or when you're Tom and playing with Chad's money.
Yeah, well,
How much of your money did he lose?
I don't know. How much have I lost so far, Tom?
There was one game where we just kept getting, like before, we had great hands, and it was a table where everyone was going all in all the time. So we kept going all in. We kept getting like ace king and stuff, and like a queen jack suited, and so we just kept going all in, and we just kept losing every time.
Yeah, because someone would have full house or just beat us out by.
Yeah, people were getting these amazing things. Like, it was like a hand where like people were getting straights and full houses, like 4 hands in a row. It was amazing, and we lost tons. All right, kids, keep playing games, and we'll keep make fun of you. I screwed that up. Keep playing games, and we'll keep
I'm
making
the one that's
fun
been
of
sitting
them.
here drinking.
Good
You're
night.
the one screwing up all your words.
Well, there was a thread. There was a thread in the forums about my bad pronunciation, how I never pronounced the same word the same way twice. Yeah.
Kudarami.
You know, I never corrected that just because I found that funny. Because it's Ken Kutaragi.
World of Warcraft update.
I'm still waiting for the glorious music to start playing and Tom to say, and Phil. And I can say, hey everybody, it's Phil.
Wow.